Is it time for Xbox to panic? What's up, y'all, and welcome to Xbox Ready, my channel that is all about Xbox. I am Ray, and this is my buddy Jimmy, and we're going to discuss the most pressing and important matters going on in the Xbox world this week.
We got guest host Coco. Say something into the mic. Okay.
This week, for some reason, it's just like the gates are flooding open with Xbox news.
Must be nice. I had to really dig this week on both Deck Ready and PS Ready. On Deck Ready, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be able to even do 2 videos this week, let alone 3.
They released the latest sales report, their Microsoft's quarterly earnings report, and not good news for hardware sales over on the Xbox side. Now, to be fair, they did acknowledge that all of the platform systems are down in terms of hardware sales, the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch. They did also say, like, this is about the time when sales start to decline when it comes to consoles, but still a pretty shocking decline from Xbox, a 42% decrease. 42%. Like, no matter how you cut it. First of all, when they announced the acquisition of Activision Blizzard way back in January 2022, this is like the exact opposite of what like pretty much every Xbox influencer YouTuber thought was gonna happen. The thought was like, oh, they're gonna complete this acquisition, they're really gonna make a case for themselves for people to want to buy Xbox consoles. That is not necessarily the case, and it's just crazy because it seems like their console sales peaked in 2022, a time when they had like no games. Now they seem to be coming, around the bend a little bit. They have some really awesome projects on the horizon, and people aren't buying consoles. It's kind of crazy. Like the way they're going now, they're on track to sell like just under Xbox One total lifetime sales, and like the running joke is that they just made mistake after mistake in the Xbox One generation, so how are they selling less this gen?
Releasing their games on PS5, probably not the wisest move. The Call of Duty thing happened after this quarter, so I'm curious if people were kind of like moved to buy it, because I saw a lot more people started playing Modern Warfare 3 once they could play it on their Xbox for free, I bought it on Steam as I do. They always put the games on sale when they come to Game Pass. Like I got it for like $55, I want to say, and I got a free code for PS5 with my PS5 Slim, and everything transfers, so I was going to play on PS5, but my PS5's Wi-Fi chip is busted, so I've been playing on PC. I've been playing on my ROG Ally X, my handheld Xbox.
Like you're saying, the obvious stuff is, they're putting their games on other consoles, and they did make it a point in this report to say, oh, gaming revenue is up. Gaming content and services are up by a staggering amount, also like 40-60%. A large part of that, though, if you take away Activision Blizzard, it would be like a 3% gain or something like stupid small like that.
We'll see where it is when like Gears E-Day comes out and Avowed, even though it got delayed. And what's the other game? Stalker. I don't think Stalker's gonna do much because I think that game's gonna be pretty buggy. Like I'm like halfway through Shadow of Chernobyl right now, and it's pretty obtuse. So yeah, like we'll see when games actually start coming out. Like there are games that they have that could move the hardware needle, and then they'll be like, whoa, releasing quality games actually gets people to buy hardware. It's crazy.
It's a question on what the priority is. Like you can also make the argument of like, oh, Microsoft doesn't really care because they're counting monthly total users across PC, across cloud, and across console.
That clear controller is pretty cool though. I saw that. I was like, ooh, if I didn't already have 15 controllers, I might pick that up.
The translucent is clean. And I'm in the same boat as Jim. Xbox loves to send controllers, and we have a bunch of third-party partners that like to send us controllers too. So I'm drowning in controllers, and my wife roasted me the other day because she saw the Deadpool controller and was like, "Are you getting that?" I was like, "No, I'm not. They're not going to be sending me that." She goes, "Man, you never get any of the good ones." I was like,
"You got the cool Fallout one. I saw that at your house when I was there." I was like, "What's she talking about?"
Yeah, not cool enough for my wife, but yeah, the new translucent controller I really mess with. It reminds me a lot of the 20th anniversary one, which also has that translucent quality to it. One of my favorite controllers. So really excited about that. I am personally worried that it's going to get to the point where console sales are so small, they're such a small slice of the Xbox business, that Microsoft is just going to be like, you know what? Screw it. Let's scrap plans for the Xbox handheld. Let's scrap plans for this next generation console leap beast that Sarah Bond keeps talking about, because I really want consoles still. I know that Xbox is kind of like mulling whether or not it's worth it, and it's a huge investment, and they're not selling a lot. They're getting smoked by PlayStation, but I still want an Xbox console.
I think they'll make them, just because if you look at how the Surface works, like the Surface does not sell well at all. You know, like the journalists like it, like Tom Warren loves his, but I don't know a single person who has ever bought a Surface, you know, and they still pump those out every year, and they're good. They're like really high quality computers that kind of like lead the way for the other manufacturers to kind of take notes on. And if Xbox can do that, and they are moving towards that like more PC style ecosystem, then I think they'll always have some sort of reference console. But it feels like it's like after this fall, early next year, when all these big games we're waiting for come out, if they are really good and they don't move hardware, then yeah, I'd expect Xbox to only go for like boutique devices or something like that. But if it does move the needle, right, like wanting to play Avowed early, wanting to play Indiana Jones early, wanting to play the freaking Gears E-Day early, the next Halo, like that moves the needle, then I think like they're very reactive, right? Like if that moves the needle, then they'll react to it with a new piece of hardware that's more generalized. You know, it's like you got to meet people where they're at or where they want to be.
There seems to be a clear divide on how Xbox wants to handle it and how Microsoft wants to handle it. Because I saw this article that was like, CFO Amy Hood wants Xbox to be a subscription service. Like, she's really excited about the growth of Game Pass and wants that to be a focus going forward. There's just such a disconnect on what Microsoft, how they want to run their gaming division, and I think how the Xbox people want to run. Like, if we talk to our friends at Xbox, and we have a few, like, they are cool and they play games and they are embedded in the gaming community. I feel like they have a good sense on what people want. They just have to deal with these directives from Microsoft saying like, yeah, let's not do consoles. Let's just go full like Game Pass. Let's go full cloud. I think Tim Stewart was the one that was like, let's put Game Pass on Nintendo Switch, on PlayStation. We want it on every screen. And Phil Spencer came out and was like, no, we don't actually want that. And now Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond, they're like, yeah, we got these like cool new next gen consoles on the way. We'll have more details to share about that soon. And then we have someone like CFO Amy Hood saying, oh no, we don't want that. We want Game Pass. We want Xbox to be a subscription service. And it is the question, like, who's going to win out in the end? That's going to be a major question going forward.
That is the biggest problem, having people at the top who don't understand what they're working with. Like, I read a great article about Boeing and like what went wrong there. And I guess the last CEO like cared about planes, was like really into planes, and then got replaced by a guy who's like, planes, I want to make money. And it's like, you see what happens there. You know, like, you got to have people like Phil Spencer, and now at Sony they've got Hideaki Nishino, who's like always been big on the PlayStation hardware. He's running the hardware game, he's running the peripheral game. Then you've got Herman Hulst, who has been at Guerrilla since the beginning when they were making Killzone 1 on PS2. Like, the dude clearly likes games. You could kind of see how things are already shifting from Jim Ryan, who was like famously on camera at a Gran Turismo 7 launch event, and they had every PlayStation running every Gran Turismo game, and he's looking at, I think, Gran Turismo 1 on PS1, and he's like, it looks so bad, why would anyone want to go back and play this? It's like, you clearly don't understand. And then seeing everything that happened with Bungie, like after the Sony purchase, like Sony should have never bought Bungie. That was such a stupid move. Very clearly inspired by the live service push by Jim Ryan, buying Concord's developer when they're 5 years in development, and like how that game turned out. It looks terrible. Like, you could kind of see what happens when people who don't understand the market they're in get the reins and then just go nuts. Like it causes major problems.
You know, I don't know if one side is going to technically win. There's a balance between the console, the PC, and the cloud right now, and hopefully it stays that kind of holy trinity, the Xbox ecosystem that they've been hyping up for the past, 3 or 4 years. It's hard to get people excited about subscription services.
I'm so over them, dude. Now that they're bundling like Hulu, ESPN, Disney Plus, and then there's like a bundle with Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Paramount Plus, it's like I've been saying this for years. The money isn't there. You can't just pump out hundreds of millions of dollars worth of content and expect people paying $7.99 a month to like recoup that. It's just not reality. And games are getting more expensive than movies now. They always used to be cheaper, and now like Spider-Man 2 cost as much as Avengers Endgame. There's no reality in where that should be the thing. Like, make the games smaller, make them cheaper. It's very like simple what needs to happen. Like, look at horror movies. They're made for $10 million. Like, if you make $50 million at the theater, that's a huge success, you know? Whereas like these action movies that are coming out that cost 100 million, 192 million, they need to make like $600 million to break even. You know, it's like you're betting the whole farm against like the biggest, worst odds ever, when like Jason Blum is cleaning up every month at the theater, putting out a $10 million piece of crap horror movie called Night Swim. He's like, oh, just made another 100 mil. Crazy. If you make smaller games, you need to make less money to make money. It's like it's a very simple plan.
Not only are they going against the budget to make the game or what they invested in the development of a game, but also in the development of a console too. But it's a lot easier to get people excited over a tangible, physical piece of tech versus just going straight subscription, right? Like if you show people a new Xbox and it's dope, it kind of has that same effect of like Apple showing a new iPhone or new watch or the Apple Vision Pro. Like tech gets people talking, and oh, it just happens to run like this cool OS and you can access these cool programs, these cool games on it. Maybe this is like the old school part of me talking, but I think that there is always going to be a place for hardware for a console at Xbox. And you know what also seems to always have a place at Xbox? Game delays. Game delays. Like, damn it. Avowed, if you have not heard, Obsidian's upcoming fantasy RPG that's set in the Pillars of Eternity universe, was supposed to come out sometime in November, or that's what certain leaks were suggesting. That's what certainly Developer Direct was suggesting earlier this year, and they have decided to delay it out of 2024 into early 2025. And let me just say, I get it, because they're saying, oh, it's going to be a crowded release schedule on Game Pass. All of that makes sense to me. And I will say, this is a lot different of a scenario than, you know, the Starfield and Redfall delays back in 2022, because back then, that was truly like, okay, what are we playing, guys? Like, High on Life? Like, As Dusk Falls? Like, the console version of Age of Empires 2? Like, that was truly a dark time. It's kind of different this time around, because they're delaying Avowed. It's just the one game. It's not the two major ones. And you still got Indiana Jones. You still got Stalker 2. You still got Age of Mythology Retold coming out, and a bunch of others, the new Microsoft Flight Sim. So there's gonna be games, but I'm still pissed. Because out of all of the games that I wanted to come out,
like so many of those games I would delay before Avowed. Like I would delay Flight Sim, I would delay Age of Mythology. Like having the 1-2 punch of Indiana Jones and Avowed would actually like situationally put them in a good spot. And like, man, they're just setting Avowed up again, just like freaking the Outer Worlds was, where there was delays with that, and it got hyped up as like the next Fallout, and then you get the game, and it's like a dialogue simulator with shitty combat, and you're like, damn, this isn't Fallout. So people dropped off of it immediately because it was on Game Pass, and Avowed has been delayed. People are gonna start expecting like the next Skyrim, and then they're gonna be super disappointed when it actually comes out, and it's not the next Skyrim, you know?
Out of all of the games that were supposed to be coming up through 2024 into the beginning of 25, Avowed was the one I was the most excited for. You know me at this point, I'm a sucker for swords, fantasy, elves running around, magic, all that stuff. Like, not all of them are good, but when there's a good fantasy game, it's like crack to me, man. Like, I just eat that up.
Oh, they also have Modern War or Black Ops 6 coming out. That's like, even though that's on everything, that is a huge game.
But at the same time, I'm like, damn it, dude, damn, like Tale as old as time. When was the last time that Xbox said they were going to release a game at a certain time, at a certain day, and that actually was true? We still have a bunch of games coming out. Don't get it twisted, like Jimmy was saying. But having Avowed on top of that, that would have really truly been the avalanche of first-party games, day-and-date titles on Game Pass that Xbox has been hyping up for the past couple of years now. And like Jimmy is saying, they delay it till 2025. It's kind of out there standing alone. It's in that position where there's a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah, and also because of Fable, we're missing out on what would have come out this year, which is Forza Horizon 6, which would have been awesome, but that's like nowhere to be seen because of Fable, and like we're gonna be waiting until next year for Fable. It's just annoying.
I still believe in Avowed because I really like Obsidian. Every game that I play from Obsidian, I end up enjoying. Even stuff like Pentiment, the smaller stuff like Grounded, which is a little bit like not usually in my wheelhouse. So I still believe in Avowed. I've kind of been back and forth on it. Like sometimes it looks good, other times I'm like, but after they did that extended look after the showcase into Avowed, I was like, okay, I'm back up on this. I was watching Mr. Matty Plays video about it too, and he's got me hyped on it as well. I'm still a believer in Avowed, and it's interesting that you bring up Fable because that's supposed to come out in 2025 too. I'm hoping that it has enough gap between Avowed and Fable, because two fantasy RPG, even though they're different styles, different worlds, I feel like from a marketing perspective that could get kind of confusing. I'm praying for like a January release date for Avowed. I'm talking like early 25.
Yeah, because like the only thing I think coming out in the first half so far of 2025 is Monster Hunter Wilds. And if the game's good, it'll speak for itself. I'm all in on a Dead Rising Deluxe Edition remaster. That's the only game I'm looking forward to for the rest of the year pretty much. So I'm feeling fine.
Anyways, guys, that's all the Xbox stuff we have to talk about today. Thanks so much for joining us for another weekend edition of Xbox Ready. Please help me get to 200K. Jimmy's at 200K. I want to be at 200K. I know a bunch of you watch the channel and you'll return to watch more videos but won't subscribe. So if you fall into that category, please consider subscribing, if nothing else, to help a poor little Xbox YouTuber out, please. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.